Did you find that part harder for you versus you coming to the States? Like, which one was easier for you to do and why?
Absolutely. Physical adaptation is much easier than mental. This is the transition that I was talking about. We bring, basically are dragged with our old stories, our old experiences and expectations. You just said we move into the relationship and everything is beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. Oh, I love you too. And we don't talk. What when we gonna hit challenges? How do we treat each other? So we are not taught how to communicate. And it's what I see with my clients and before in my own relationships, that we don't communicate authentically what we really want from this relationship. But it all starts with us. So first, who I want to be in this relationship before I ask you who I want you to be, because you know the change starts with from within. And if I come to the relationship with kindness and respect. So I often hear in my from my clients, especially women, that their men, they always talk, I just want you to respect me. I just want you to respect me. And I was like, okay, and what does respect means to them? Did you like, what does it mean? Like when you say, I want your respect, what does it mean? I don't know. He doesn't know how to explain it. He just wants to be respected. So this is the first barrier, first challenge. You don't even know what the respect means to you because you never thought, you were just taught, probably you heard from your father or your mom, the fights. I was one of the kids back in the time when I heard, I just want your respect, but no one was talking to each other. What does it mean? Respect to me means that you talk kindly to me. Respect means that you don't yell at me. When you see something that you don't appreciate about me doing or saying, there is much kinder way to express it than yelling or shutting down or saying, I'm not talking to you, leave me alone. So it's the silence treatment. It what we do to each other. And oh my gosh, I did it once to my husband. I didn't talk to him for almost 2 months because I was so much in pain and it was something silly. Then I didn't even remember what was it. So we just get cut in the pain and hurt, and that the word should not, we shouldn't be treated that way. I should be treated better. But what does it mean? How we want to be treated? Express what you really want in your relationship. So the biggest barrier in all relationships when the issues came later on is the lack of communication and expressing who we are, what we do really want. And before actually we get into this lasting relationship, we don't really say what are our expectations. And I don't like to really say expectations. I like standards, because so expectation is something that I put on you and you might not measure that expectation. But if I introduce you to my standards, my values, it's how I operate, then you can see, and he can tell or she can tell you if it's acceptable for them and if they want to live the same way. So there is no one manual that is ready for how to live your marriage or how to live in your relationship, but it's this everyday discovering. But you have to put the input that you are curious about this other person. If they are nervous, they are stressed, anger, it's not necessarily about you. Most often is about the job, about the everyday stress, the COVID, the men, especially if they are the only one working for the family, they are often under the stress. Am I gonna provide for my family? And they don't want to share it with you because they are men. Yes, they are the providers, the alpha. Yes, people. So they don't want you to worry, or your family. They want you to think that everything is fine. But then you can see this stress arising in them, And how you can help? Ask. Don't pretend that you know that there is elephant in the room, but we don't talk about that. And we can take it many ways, but the number one, the foundation of every healthy relationship is conversation and communication to each other every single day. And silence is not going to help neither of you.
And I think that's a lost art. I think communication between two people is something that is missing. And it's unfortunate because that's how we communicate what we want. And to your point, it's a standard. And I like that word better than expectation, because an expectation is something that you place on someone in a way unfairly, because if they don't live up to it, it's not an expectation they set. If I said that I want my woman, I expect you to do this, you're gonna look at me like, well, I can't do that. I didn't agree to that. So he's gonna put everyone in a difficult situation. But if I say that, you know what, my standard is I want these three things, I'm going to look for a partner that meets those three things with, instead of me imposing those three things on people. Do you think that is one of the big issues between two people who are in the stage of courtship and they're trying to say, okay, you know what, I want, but they're not taking a step back and saying that, you know what, if I want these things so badly, if it's so important, why am I putting it on her? Why am I putting it on him? Why don't I find someone that has that? Do you think communication is a lost art at this point?
Yes, absolutely. It's a lost art, which I even had to rediscover in what I teach my clients. But before that, I think the other important point is you have to really know yourself before you set standards or expectations from the others. If you know yourself and you know how you would like be treated, you would not ever treat other person different way. Even if there is a divorce or the long-term relationship breakup, you know it's get nasty. People get ugly to each other because there is this desire of revenge. Hardly ever there is the situation when we both decide, okay, I'm not saying that they are not people like, yes, we live together, I don't know, 10, 15, 30 years. We started growing. It's what I always call, it's not that you just stop living together. You were just growing separately, different ways. And let's end this relationship before it gets ugly. It's probably 1%. It hardly ever happens. Usually one person is numbing that desire that I'm not happy in this relation, because they don't want to hurt the other person. And so they are pretending, oh, I'm tired. Oh, you are so quiet. What's going on? Oh, I have a lot of work at work. So they live in the same house, but in separate rooms. They just like roommates. Probably roommates sometimes spend more time with each other than the marriages. So get to know yourself. If you know how you would like to be treated, you would never treat the other person in a bad way. And the revenge that we want because this other person decided to start new life wouldn't be that ugly. Because especially women, unfortunately, ladies, I have to be honest, especially women, they want revenge. If I'm not happy because you left me, I will make your life miserable. And if there are kids, it's the most sad part for me, seeing how, and again, unfortunately, most of the time it's women. I'm a woman, so it's hard for me to say it, but they are using kids against their partners, because if I cannot hurt you directly, I will use the kids to hurt you. It's the most damaging for the whole family thing, but for the kids, because basically at that moment you're preparing your poor kids for a long time therapy in the future.